Well, Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi visited Anambra State Governor Charles Soludo at the Governor's Lodge in the Amobia area of the state today. Well, Chief Press Secretary to the Anambra State Governor, Christian Aburime, said Obi and Soludo held private discussions. According to him, Peter Obi commended Governor Soludo for his efforts in governing Anambra State. Governor Soludo, on the other hand, welcomed Mr. Peter Obi to Anambra as a prominent son of the state and wished him well on his presidential bid as a presidential candidate of the Labour Party.
Well, to look at all of this, we're now being joined by Rise News analyst, Dr. Sam Amadi, an associate professor of law. Thank you so much for joining us on the news tonight. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, thank you.
Where do we begin? I think we should begin from River State and this conciliatory moves by the major opposition party in Nigeria. You saw the governor of Adamawa State there, Fintiri, who is leading the Atiku side of the dialogue. He says it's work in progress, and he believes that they will be able to broker peace and unify the party. Is it too optimistic, ambitious?
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. I mean, it's clear that basically this is one of those grievances that are basically contrived, really, because this is not about disagreement about ideology or policy. This is basically outcome of election. Somebody lost, Wike, somebody won, Atiku. And it seems to me that the loser wants to be the winner, one way or the other. It's about negotiation. There are three issues here. One is the issues to be negotiated, namely who will be the chairman of the party, whether the chairman, the acting chairman, the chairman himself, substantive chairman, promised to, because of the northern candidate, the presidential candidate from the north, and therefore they said he should leave. But then the party chairman has said he's not leaving. He has a 4-year tenure. And many of us have reasonably said there's really no point. It's self-defeating to ask the chairman to hand over at the time they need to be building momentum for the election. So many people have said the normal conventional thing used to be, if you win, you change the structure, okay? Right. The second issue here will be how to manage the campaign. You lost the VP, you lost the president, lost the VP. Probably you would like to take charge of the campaign structure.
Did you campaign?
I mean, I'm just assuming these are the issues are in play right away. If I was a Atiku advisor, I would be wary of handing over the campaign to what looked like a reluctant bride. Okay, you're going to a marriage. Somebody's just saying maybe, maybe not. So
but the reluctant bride could get married and actually fall in love with the husband.
Well,
that's
in strategy, you deal with observable facts. You don't do presumption.
You don't do presumption.
You build from, you look from at facts and then look at what's possible. Okay, let's leave that. Of course, the demon can become an angel. People can change. But the point is that look at this is high-stake negotiation going on. Good faith, and the negotiators are very well-meaning persons. And at that same point, you are talking down on the process itself, saying it does not mean I support Atiku. To be frank, even that Governor Wike is somebody who has really contributed much to the party, strong in everywhere, supportive of the party these years, and the PDP kind of is in a little bit of difficulty. This is a competitive election. He has actually committed anti-party activity. A more organized, a more web-advantaged party would have probably yanked him off. I mean, you cannot... Does
that in itself show the weak position that the PDP finds itself, in spite of the fact that before now, things were actually looking good before the primaries, where the impression or the perception out there was that, look, the PDP's got its house in order, done the primaries and all of that, while the ruling party was having internal issues. But really, is it a Wike problem or an Atiku problem?
I think it's largely a Wike problem. I'll tell you why. Atiku just won an election, so there could be many plus and minus. Every candidate is weak and strong. Every candidate has plus and minus. Part of his own plus minuses will be he has been leaving party, has not been the party all the time. So people can argue, oh, some moral burden, or this guy just stepped in and took over, okay? His own strength is that he seemed to have structures. He seemed to be strong enough. That's why he won the primary, by the way. The point is this, some clarity. First is that Victory and losses have consequences politically. So he won. You cannot turn victory to defeat. So there are certain demands you put on the table that essentially turns to a defeat. That's number one. Number two is that the governor of Rivers State, a strong member of the party, perhaps because of how he has entrenched himself, how the party has been run in the past, where it's run like a one-man show, funding, nobody to fund, maybe he does all the funding. In truth, he has taken a lot of liberty. First, you say, we're not supporting, up until now, you're not supporting the candidate of your party, and you're not leaving. So what does that tell you? And you're talking about nobody wins without Rivers. Of course, Buhari won to win without Rivers. Rivers is important. Rivers is critical. They have the numbers. And no politician wants to lose. It's a game of addition, not subtraction. So if Rivers was 1.8 million voters or citizens, and maybe 300 voters, you don't want to risk it. But if you keep telling us that nobody wins, Rivers is too strategic. So it's actually calling the bluff. So I don't understand the nature of this game. Do you really want to be the candidate? Do you want to take some concession, or do you just want to disarray the team? So basically, if you ask me, if I was an advisor of this party from the moon or from outside the country, I would just say, who is that guy? I don't think really he's helping this cause.
All right, thank God you're not from the moon, Dr. Sam Amadi. Well, when you say in a more advantaged party, a Wike would have been yanked off. Does that then speak to the fact, or what Wike terms himself as, someone who wins election, someone who cannot be toyed with? I mean, if you say all of this translates to anti-party activity and they still keep him, then there's something about Wike, the PDP, seemingly cannot do without. I mean, what's going on here? And I mean, to your point, yes, President Muhammadu Buhari won without Rivers twice. In the last election, the PDP did not see the usual 1 million and above votes. That dropped to about 600,000, if not less.
Actually, PDP did far better in Delta than in Rivers, data-wise. The point, and by the way, Wike is not as strong as he used to be. You're talking about several leaders who are either not with him, and you're talking about beavers coming in. So most of these figures we're getting, some of them were small goods, some of them all kinds of things.
Yeah, but when you say Wike is no longer strong, I mean, with his homestead becoming a political mecca of some sort, who hasn't visited Wike in his
absolutely home? Let's forget the optics. Money is involved, a lot of this involved.
Like
I said, it's a game of addition. PDP has met with Wike, Atiku, and Tinubu people.
And
Soludo. No, that doesn't count. The point is that he's an important key player. The point I'm making is that if you look at the Rivers, in my view, will be much more competitive and divided. We're seeing strong inroad of APC through, of course, Magnus Abe, and of course, the APC structure there. You see Wike there, we don't know where it's going to go. And he said a good LP, Labour Party is going to make a strong showing.
Because all of this
because of the Igbo and Christian sentiment. So the point I'm making is that what is happening is that PDP, when I say is the word, not an advantage position, you're an opposition party. So you don't want to take much risk. If you look at the governor outlay, the PDP has less of governors, So even though they fancy themselves as a party maybe that's likely going to win this election, but the point is that they don't want to, basically abandon a very strong party member, a leader. I'm nothing to do with his capacity.
And that brings me to this point very quickly before we let this go. Doesn't it point to the need to have parties that are strong, where every party member is an equal stakeholder, where everybody puts in their little bit, and you don't have strong men that seem to direct the direction of the party?
In fact, this is the point. Since 1999, up to now, we had parties those parties were stronger. PDP was stronger, MPP was stronger, even Tinubu's party was stronger. We've seen them less so. We've seen such that individuals now control the party. It's more like individual franchise. Look at how some of the governors and potentates right around the weekend, they travel with him as if they are the paid piper of Hamelin, whistling and people are following. Because this is the guy who dispensed, benefits, who helped you file cases in court. The parties have no way of getting their own money. And that's why the new Electoral Act talks about membership and dues. So if you have a party that, even if people are financiers, but they don't have that overwhelming control. I mean, if you clarity look at this dispute, it's contrived. It's basically about, I lost the election, I ought to be the winner. You won. I want to nullify, make nugatory your victory by reversing outcome. So I'm the winner, you're the loser. Because this debate, oh, remove the chairman, oh, we're going to take over the DG of the campaign. For 3 weeks, you have been not having any closure. I think it's really basically shows the disadvantaged position of PDP as a party, where they need to stomach a lot, go through this motion, and every day you are speaking against the candidate. So by the time you finish dressing down and demystifying and basically destroying the prestige and credibility of the candidate, and you sign on, what's the value? So I think at some point that somebody will have to think through and say, what are we up to here? What's playing out? I don't think it's really nice to be in a discussion, negotiation, and telling people, a leader of the party saying, that does not mean I'm going to support my candidate. I mean, you ship out, and I allow them to say true.
Can you, in 20 seconds, tell us the importance of this Obi visit we've been saying, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, very quickly?
Well, I think Obi is moving everywhere. Obi's strategy is not to do structure, but to make the structure the message, and it's getting ground. Okay. It's a good strategy for an Obi, not good for APC or PDP.
Nice.
Thank you very much, and that's a good place to leave it. Dr. Sam Amadi, a Rise News analyst.